They told women to reach higher and better, never settle, and they never told them what it would cost. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe and like the video. This is DepthRealm, where we expose the shadows so you can see the truth. Hypergamy was sold as liberation. The idea that a woman should always seek a man who is stronger, richer, more accomplished, more powerful, more desirable than herself. Not as a strategy, but as a right. Not as a preference, but as an identity. And for a while it felt empowering. Choice exploded. Options multiplied. Attention became endless. Validation became cheap. Women were told, "You deserve the best. Never compromise. Men must earn you. Your standards are never too high." But no one explained the hidden math behind that promise. No one explained supply and demand. No one explained emotional economics. No one explained that when everyone chases the top tier, the bottom collapses, and the middle disappears. Hypergamy works in scarcity. It fails in abundance. In the past, hypergamy functioned inside constraints. Limited social circles, local communities, finite options, clear timelines. A woman chose the best man available within her environment. That environment was small, human, grounded. So the gap between expectation and reality stayed narrow. Modern hypergamy removed the limits. Global dating apps, infinite comparison, endless highlight reels, algorithmic desirability rankings. Now women aren't choosing the best man they can build with. They're competing for the same small percentage of men every other woman wants. And those men know it. This is where the promise breaks. Because hypergamy doesn't produce partnership. It produces competition. And competition destroys intimacy. When a woman believes she can always trade up, she never fully invests down. When she believes a better option is one swipe away, she never roots herself in the present. When she believes commitment is a loss of leverage, she treats love like a negotiation. Men feel this immediately. A man knows when he's being evaluated instead of chosen. He knows when he's being compared instead of appreciated. He knows when he's a placeholder instead of a partner. And men do not bond under threat. Hypergamy teaches women to withhold loyalty until a man proves permanence. But men require loyalty to create permanence. That contradiction alone collapses modern relationships before they begin. So what happens? Women delay commitment. Men delay investment. Women wait for proof. Men wait for safety. Nothing moves forward. Instead, women optimize for independence, income, and status, believing this will increase their desirability. But hypergamy punishes parity. Men are not attracted to mirrors. They are attracted to polarity. As women climb economically and socially, the pool of men above them shrinks. And instead of adjusting expectations, they double down. They tell themselves, "I'd rather be alone than settle." But loneliness wasn't part of the plan. Loneliness was supposed to be the consequence for men who couldn't keep up. Yet here we are. Modern women are more educated, more employed, more autonomous than any generation before them, and simultaneously more single, more anxious, more medicated, more emotionally starved. This isn't coincidence. It's cause and effect. Hypergamy promised freedom from dependence. But dependence was never the enemy. Misalignment was. By rejecting interdependence, women didn't become stronger. They became isolated. And isolation rewires the psyche. The longer a woman remains unattached while expecting elite-level partnership, the more defensive her nervous system becomes. The more she rationalizes solitude as empowerment. The more she reframes emotional need as weakness. Until one day, she no longer knows how to soften. Attraction doesn't survive constant self-protection. Men sense it. They feel the walls. They feel the audits. They feel the silent test. Are you good enough for my lifestyle? High-value men don't compete for approval. They opt out. So who remains? men who tolerate imbalance, men who accept conditional affection, men who perform without authority, men who stay because they fear replacement, and women don't respect those men. This creates the cruel paradox. Hypergamy filters out the men women want and selects the men they don't. Then comes resentment. Women begin to say, men are intimidated. Men are immature. Men can't commit. But what they're really experiencing is market correction. When a woman's standards are built on external validation instead of relational compatibility, she attracts attention, not attachment. Dating becomes endless first impressions with no second acts. And time doesn't pause. The biological clock doesn't negotiate with ideology. Fertility doesn't care about income. Desire doesn't respond to resumes. As years pass, options don't expand, they polarize. High-status men age into leverage. Women age into urgency. And hypergamy becomes brutal under urgency. This is when the emotional cost appears. Women who once rejected stability now crave it. Women who once avoided dependence now feel exhaustion. Women who once dismissed average men now mourn the absence of average love. But the skills required to build intimacy were never practiced. They were postponed. Hypergamy taught selection, not retention. Evaluation, not devotion. Comparison, not commitment. So when a woman finally wants depth, she finds herself shallow. Not in character, but in capacity. Loneliness becomes chronic. Not dramatic loneliness. Functional loneliness. The kind masked by productivity, friendships, travel, and distraction. The quiet kind. The kind you feel at night when success doesn't hold you. The kind you feel when no one needs you. The kind you feel when independence stops feeling like choice and starts feeling like exile. And still, pride prevents adjustment. Because admitting the cost of hypergamy would mean admitting the lie. So instead, modern culture reframes loneliness as empowerment. Rebrands solitude as strength. Celebrates detachment as evolution. But the body doesn't lie. Women report higher anxiety, higher antidepressant use, higher emotional burnout. Men report withdrawal, disengagement, and avoidance. Two sexes moving away from each other, both blaming the other, while the real cause sits untouched. Hypergamy wasn't evil. It was incomplete. It was never meant to be a lifestyle. It was meant to be a filter. When preference becomes identity, it becomes prison. Women didn't lose men because men became worse. They lost men because the rules of connection were replaced with rules of optimization. Love became a transaction. Desire became a metric. Partnership became a power struggle. And intimacy cannot survive power games. The final truth is uncomfortable. Hypergamy didn't fail women because men changed. It failed because women were told they could bypass sacrifice without consequence. But every meaningful bond requires surrender, not submission but mutual risk. When no one wants to risk losing, everyone loses. And that's why the freest generation of women feels the loneliest. That's why the most connected era feels the emptiest. That's why choice didn't lead to fulfillment. Because freedom without attachment isn't empowerment. It's isolation with better branding. See the pattern. Protect your energy. This is DepthRealm.